Alright, it's time to cover our second Lasso mission foundations. Let's get into it. So once we start off here, it's just going to be a single elite that you're just going to have to take care of here. It's very easy, honestly, because there's a giant bottomless edge right next to you to the left. If you just shoot the rocket to the right of the elite, it'll send him flying away. If you don't manage to pull that off, it's not too bad. You just start peppering him with rockets, and eventually you'll get it. You just need to be careful if he pulls out the sword and chases you with that. You just need to keep your distance. Next, you're just going to keep following the path I took here, and once you're up on this platform, we're going to be hopping back and forth between these two elevated platforms. That way we can avoid all the grenades and stuff being thrown at us. And each time we pop out, we're going to throw a dynamo, get them stunned, shoot a rocket or two, and finish them off. And once we killed all the enemies that we could from that vantage point, we're going to hop down and do the exact same thing we were just doing. Throw a dynamo, finish them off with the rockets. These first couple sections aren't too bad. If you do ever need shields, it's really not too bad also to just go in and melee, since it is just grunts and jackals. You just throw a dynamo to stun whoever you're not going in and meleeing, and then you just go in and melee the other person and you can finish them off. There are going to be two brutes here. They, in my experience, always love to just hang behind that little beam sticking out of the ground. And you can just take them out both at the exact same time. It's really, I don't know what their deal is, but they love to just sit there, and both your rockets just do a lot of damage here. The next section is going to be a little bit more tricky, as there's going to be a phantom coming in right behind you, and they do a lot of damage. So we're going to want to hang back so the phantom doesn't spawn and pick off who we can. You can kind of notice that I was using the commando to kind of see where I was shooting at. That way I could aim my rockets a little bit better, since there wasn't anything close enough to use my grapple hook to figure out where my cursor was. But we're just going to pick off again who we can, and the phantom will trigger once we get close to this little pillar here, where we're going to want to grapple up kind of sporadically, as the phantom will start shooting at you, and it does a lot of damage. So like I said, don't want to get hit by that. You also kind of want to wait until the phantom goes away, because if you keep peeking your head out too much, it will start shooting at you again. And once it's gone, you can start throwing your dynamos and doing your tried and true combo that way. The dynamos will go the full length of this entire room, even from up here, so you are able to get everyone you need to electrocuted and stunned before you can finish them off. There is also another little bottomless cliff right here on the left side of this little area, and you can use your advantage just like you did at the very start of the level, where you can just shoot the rocket on the opposite side of them to launch them over to the left to make them fall to their death. And once you've cleared out most of them, it should just be a couple grunts left. If you need to, you can always just go back and get your shields again. Just finish them off. That way you can start the next area, the next section of the level with full shields and hopefully a checkpoint as well.
Be careful. They're still coming. You really pissed them off back there.
And once we start to cross these light bridges here, there's going to be a group of banished that are going to be directly to our left. So we're just going to grapple in and shoot them all with the rockets. You should be able to take most of them out with just the two. There are going to be a couple more hanging back, so if you need to, it's just going to be the jackal right here. You can melee if you need to. But there are going to be a little bit more to the right as well, so you want to make sure you're not out in the open when that does happen. Also be careful, don't do what I just did there and shut the rocket right next to all those explosive canisters. As you see, I got hit by quite a bit of those little flying shrapnel pieces, so you will take a good bit of damage just from that. And again, we're going to cross all these broken, segmented areas of the map here, and there's going to be a bunch more banished, and this time there'll be two brutes, each of which have a rocket launcher that you want to be extra careful of. You want to make sure you're staying out of line of sight for everything, and don't do what I just did here, where I almost fell to my death, but I also needed the shield, so I took advantage of that and just quickly grappled up to the jackal and finished him off that way. But I got my shields back. And we're going to take out the final brute here, and you can see the two rockets didn't quite kill him, so I had to pull out my commando and finish him off this way. This next section is going to be a little hard too, because there's going to be a lot of enemies all clustered together, and a lot of them will throw grenades at you, so you really want to utilize being able to throw your dynamos from safely behind cover. That way they won't have a chance to retaliate too much for you and get punished for peeking your head out. Also, be careful with those exploding canisters too, because again, the shrapnel, when they land, they are on fire a little bit, and you will get damaged if you're standing on it. So you don't want to accidentally die to that. Now in that left room, you can see I shot the explosive canisters there. That's because there's usually going to be a brute right next to it, and that's also why I'm throwing all those dynamos in there. You can see I actually ended up killing him with just spamming dynamos in that area. There's also going to be a couple grunts that are going to be directly below you, so we're going to try and stun them if we can from here. I don't think I stunned any of them, unfortunately, with this. But we're going to start picking them off one by one here. And you got to be real careful with the elites that are going to be in the back of the room, as they tend to be a little bit more slippery and hard to hit, as they sidestep your rockets pretty frequently. As well as they're always going to be hiding near the back of the room, which forces you to be in an open area in order to shoot them. But I believe you can just run past them and just go straight to the grab lift, but I ended up killing them here just to be on the safe side, so that way I didn't get shot on my way up. Because in this level and in other sections of other levels, if you're just going straight up to a grab lift, they still will hit you and you can die just mid grab lift. Another thing that makes the elite so dangerous is how deadly accurate they are with the grenades they throw. So you got to be really careful whenever they throw grenades, that you have a quick reaction whenever one is chucked at you to run back into the other room for safety until it explodes, where you can pop back in, take a couple more shots at them, and slowly peck away at their health that way. Like I said, you can probably just run past them. Like I said, I didn't here just because I wanted to be safe. But these guys are probably the hardest part of this room by itself. Also, one more thing with the elites is it gets really tough because most of them will turn invisible after you damage them a good bit, so you gotta keep an eye out, and that's why I also like throwing dynamos whenever I'm not sure if they're there or not. If I'm not 100% sure that I killed them, I'll just spam dynamos like I am now, because if I do end up hitting them, they'll get electrocuted and I'll be able to see them. But if I don't hit them, that means I know they're not in that immediate area and I'm safe to go in. It's also worth noting that higher ranking banished, such as the white elites and the higher ranking chieftain brutes, that the dynamo grenades won't stun them every single time. Every time that you throw them for the first time, they'll stun them, but if you throw them a second time immediately after, it won't get stunned right away. They have like a little cooldown period before they can get stunned again. So you got to be a little bit extra careful with that, because you don't want to just assume that you're safe just because you threw another one. So the first one will always stun. The second one, if it's immediately after, won't. So I'd wait like 5 seconds before I expect another stun. So this next room is going to be filled with a bunch of grunts, jackals, and elites, and we're going to be popping back and forth between this giant open door here to provide cover while we lob our rockets out at each other, trying to pick off one by one. We're mostly going to be aiming for the grunts and jackals, as it's a little bit harder to kill the elites, especially when there's a lot of people shooting at you consistently, since the elites tend to sidestep your rockets and they're a little bit more slippery. You want to make sure that you kill all the grunts on the lower first platform first, that way they don't keep lobbing a bunch of grenades at you, and then you can slowly start picking off all the grunts and jackals that are up top. And you want to kill as many as you possibly can before you start going in more. Once you've cleared out a sufficient amount, you are also welcome to go on top of these little support beams as well, as they provide a great vantage point in order to get better angles to kill more people. And just in case the elite is still hiding behind there, it's a great cover from the people that are going to be in the back, and you're able to at least lob the rockets and slowly start taking out that elite. I was lucky enough to where the elite had moved upward there, so you can see both elites are just chilling over there while I'm trying to kill that jackal, which actually worked out great for me, and hopefully it works out the same way for you, as it makes it a lot easier, because as you're killing the jackal and as you're able to stun them, you're able to stun both at the same time if they're grouped up. You just have to be careful that when you're going on these support beams, because now you're going to be in range of their grenade throws, so if they land on it, just like it did there, you have to jump off a little bit and then grapple back up so that way you can avoid the grenade explosion. But just like normal, we're going to try and stun them, and we're just going to try and AoE them both down at the same time so that way we don't have to waste as much time killing these things that are already a big pain in the butt. But I was able to get 2 direct hits on them and was able to kill one of them. And then there goes the other one. And just like that, you've cleared this room. While doing this, I wasn't quite sure that I had gotten both elites, so I was just throwing my grenades again just to double check to see if I would get an electrocution at all. But it looks like I didn't, so I was able to just progress through like normal.
Something up ahead.
So after you ride up the elevator and you progress through this next corridor, there's going to be a couple of grunts and jackals scattered about here. But like I said, they're only going to be grunts and jackals, so that you won't be too bad. 1 to 2 rockets for each one, and you should be able to kill them all. And you'll also have plenty of opportunities to regain your shields had you lost any, as like I said, since they're just grunts and jackals, they're going to be pretty easy to go by. And even when you get into the next room, there's going to be a couple more grunts jackals, but there's going to be 1 sniper jackal you're going to look out for, so you just want to make sure you stay out of his line of sight. But he's going to be right up at the top little ledge there. So you just want to keep an eye out for that, just to make sure you don't get sniped out by him, because they do a lot of damage if they line up their shots and they hit you. About 2 to 3 shots will kill you with those. So just make sure you're topped off, and I like to just grapple on top of these little support beams, that way I can get the jump on the sniper jackal.
Look, over there. That's the source.
The bridge is out.
Yes, it is. Maybe there's a way to power it back up nearby. Maybe even another Cortana levels and lets them. Right. Did I miss something? There's a file that's been unlocked, but I don't have access.
We need a route out of here.
Okay, let's see. There's a breach close by. It should lead us to the surface. Give me a second, and I'll get this bridge activated. We've got company, Chief.
After you put in the weapon on the console, pieces of the bridge will slowly start rising up with banished on most of the platforms. But they're mostly just going to be grunts and jackals, and you can usually just take them out in a couple rockets. And then when you reach the center platform where the bridge connects, there's going to be even more banished and a couple brutes as well. is that you just do your tried and true dynamo rocket launcher combo until all the main grunts and jackals are picked off, and then you can focus on the brutes. Because the number of grunts and jackals are there, there's plenty of opportunities that you can use to get any shields back that you may need. Just be wary of any grenades that are being thrown, especially by the brutes, and I know they have rocket launchers as well, so be careful with that. Try not to let them get any shots off with that rocket launcher, so as soon as you see one, it is a good idea to try and take one out and stun them with the dynamo grenades to prevent them from getting any shots off.
Wow, you got here fast. Not the type to waste any time, huh?
No.
Noted. Let's go.
And the process will repeat here, where sections of the bridge will appear with 2 and 3 grunts appearing respectively, but you should be able to take all of them out with just your 2 rockets after stunning them both. But the part you want to be wary about now is the end of the hallway here, where there's going to be a plasma turret that you need to stay out of line of sight of, and that should be your first priority. So as soon as you get the opportunity, hide behind one of the pillars and pop in and out in order to take 2 shots down to the plasma turret so you can take it out. And from there you can just start picking off from a distance as many as you can. Now I wanted to get rid of this brute, so I really wanted to hurry up and just rush over to him, because I know the rest of them are just going to be grunts and jackals, and maybe one more brute in between. So I just went in and finished him off real quick, and now I'm just melee fighting the rest of the grunts since they're not really too much of a challenge here. I was able to just push that guy off the edge, so that saved a little bit of time there. Almost got the second one, almost didn't get it. There'll be a couple more jackals and grunts just around here, and there'll also be more coming out of the door when you get closer to it. As soon as the door opens, just fire a couple rocket shots and you should get all of them that way. And if not, you just can go in and quickly finish them off. And as you go through this next segment of the broken hallway here, there will be a pack mule grunt, and you can just quickly kill, or if you need shields, he's a perfect opportunity to get them back. And then in the immediate room preceding that, there'll be a brute with a skewer, so you really don't want to get shot by him. So you want to really rush in and hurry up and finish him off, because if he gets a shot off and it hits you, you are going to die. Then you just simply grab the power cell at the top, plug it in, and you're good to progress to the next section.
It's called a parasol. Stop. How is that a Spartan? She was carrying an enhanced shield module.
So once we see the Spartan, we're going to go pick up our upgraded shield Spartan core. And this is going to be the first one that we're going to be upgrading fully as soon as we get enough cores, as shields are vital to this Lasso playlist, as enemies just do an absurd amount of damage and you're going to need every amount of shields you can get. So you really, this should be your first priority. And then afterwards we're going to be saving our cores. Then you can grapple up. We can just melee this grunt, make sure we have enough shields for the next room here, as this one will be a little tricky. You really want to pick off as many as you can at the start here. Get that center area as clear as you can. And then we're going to grapple up to the side here. And we're going to want to take out the jackal snipers, because they're going to do a lot of damage. There's going to be one on either side of the room. Or on both sides of the room. And then from here, we're just going to be hiding behind the pillars here and shooting our rockets where we can, wherever the enemies are. Picking off one by one. They're mostly just jackals and grunts, so you don't have to worry too much about taking an absurd amount of damage, but the only real threat is the jackal sniper. You can see he's going to be right where I just shot my rocket here. Like I said, just keep poking in and out. Make sure you get each and every one of them. Really want to clear out this room, and we're going to have to actually clear out the entire room before we can progress to the last phase of this level. Now you can see my shields just got broken here, so at some point I'm going to want to go in and get my shields in. So I see a jackal just by himself over here, so I'm just going to quickly try and grapple over to him and get some melees in so I can get my shields back. One rocket will kill any kind of jackal just so long as you hit them without their shields being in front of them where the explosion is. So you want to make sure you just try and use your ammo efficiently. Even though you have infinite ammo, it's still a good idea. That way you're not wasting as much time that you're probably going to be getting shot at, because every time you poke your head out to shoot anyone, you're putting yourself at risk. And also be careful because grunts will pop out behind you from the little door after you pass by. So you want to make sure you don't get ambushed by them. We're just going to go off to the same side and do the same thing. Feel free to use any of the explosion canisters that are going to be nearby to your advantage. You can see I totally missed that one and almost just got stuck right there, so don't let that be you. But you really want to make sure that you end this fight with full shields, because you don't want to die to the boss that's coming later and have to redo this entire fight, because it's just going to be a big pain in the butt in order to get back to the boss, and then it's just going to be that much harder when you do the boss too.
We need to call down the elevator. Look for a control terminal.
Yep, then we're just going to go off to the side room in the back here. That way we can grab our power core, head back, and we'll be ready for the boss. So once you activate the terminal, it'll put you in the cutscene that'll then direct you directly to the boss fight where you fight Tremonius. And this one's going to be a tough boss fight because he has two deadly weapons. The first one being the Hydra, and you really don't want to get hit by that because with the boom and cowbell skull, it's going to do a lot of damage and it's going to be very easy to get hit by. And the second one will be the Bulldog, and you don't want to be close to him when he pulls that out and starts attacking you with that. And the other thing that we really need to pay attention to is that he also spawns with two yellow shield jackals that we're going to need to take care of immediately, as it's going to be too much for us to handle when we're already juggling with the boss. So as soon as you can, you need to kill both jackals, pop them off with your rocket launchers, and hopefully you can get both at once. I will die later on in this video, and I'll show you that you spawn in a different spot, and it's much easier to take care of those jackals from that spot, and you can more easily accomplish that. So there's going to be two different things that we're going to utilize in this boss fight that'll make it way easier than fighting traditionally. First of which will be utilizing the boom and cowbell skull to our advantage, and by that we're just going to be using as many explosives, so mostly plasma grenades and our rocket launcher, to send Tremonius flying away, as he has a tendency to not want to fight back when he's too high off the ground, and he'll only start firing back at you when he's a certain distance from the ground. And the second thing we're going to be utilizing is our mobility with the grappling hook, as with his Hydra and the boom and cowbell skull, it's going to be easier for him to hit us and do a lot of damage with it. So what we want to do is we want to just grapple around to prevent him from doing as much damage as we possibly can, as there's not going to be too many chances for us to melee the boss without him killing us. So you really want to utilize however many shields you have, because there's a good chance you might not be able to get it back during the fight. So you can see how I died here, and when I go to restart the boss fight, I'm actually spawning more off to the side on the opposite end, which allows us to more easily face these jackals, as it's going to be right in front of us. So we're going to take out those jackals as quick as possible, and now we're just trying to utilize our explosives to go and send him flying as much as possible. We're just chucking plasmas, trying to whittle him down that much, and I actually needed shields pretty bad here, so I had to take the risk and go and melee him. But I got very fortunate, and he ended up turning around when I was grappling onto him, and I was able to get a back smack, which helped out tremendously. But as you can see, since I'm just shooting him with the rocket launchers, I'm actually sending him flying a good bit, which is making it harder for him to get any shot off on me. and as well as we're using the grappling hook to, whenever he does shoot at us, we're avoiding most of his attacks, so we're not taking too much damage. And then you just rinse and repeat this until you kill the boss, and you'll be finished with the level foundations. And you can see me taking my victory spins as I finally beat the boss. And with that, we're done with our second Laso level. As I stated in the last video, I'll be streaming me play through Laso again. Not sure exactly when I'll start, I'll need to set up all my stuff still. But if you ever want to check out more updated routes, feel free to check out the stream, and the link will be in the description. Also, I'd love to hear any feedback on what you'd like to see in the next video guides for anything I could improve upon or other suggestions. See you guys for Outpost Harmonious.